Hello and welcome to Clean Fiction Audio, where you can find wonderful reads for the quirky and discerning book lover. This audio version of the popular magazine focuses on the best reads that are available in audiobook form from both the Christian and clean secular markets. For even more independent and small press books, visit cleanfictionmagazine.com and check out our most recent edition. This week we are focusing on the science fiction and steampunk genres, and you will enjoy 2 reviews from each genre written by our clean fiction reviewers. Contact information for reviewers featured in this episode can be found in the description. We hope that you enjoy these reviews and find your next favorite audiobook.
A Clean Fiction Review by Amy Lynn McConahy of Space Boots by Derrick Dalton. Leo Jones wants nothing more than to become a surgeon, but a misplaced terrorist bomb destroys his chance at a fast-tracked career and nearly his optimism. His plan B finds him cleaning a Navy starship, saving for school, and running out of patience. Hopnia Zimmerman wields her willpower with even more skill than her violin bow. As a new Navy officer, she's disappointed. Her first battle is not against an invader, but Leo's traitorous captain. She vows to bring him down, but agonises over the collateral leaves. In the confusion of dealing with demigod ships and reassignments, Leo creates more problems for Hofnia than a misplaced bomb did for him. As they struggle to save the ship and limp back to Earth, they find the battle isn't over. There are vindictive traitors who are not biding their time. Space Boots is part of the space opera, humor, and techno-thriller genres. This book is available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback and on Audible. I found this book via a deep dive into Google in search of clean science fiction. The warmth and familiarity that this book presented were well mixed with plausible scientific advances that were woven into the story. This is a true American melting pot experience. African American, Jewish, Mexican, Asian, Italian, and European are all represented. Dalton manages to represent each ethnicity with grace and finesse. It was wonderful to read a science fiction that was so ethnically dense while being laugh-out-loud hilarious. Action. There is both military and medical action in this book. If you are a bit squeamish about medical processes, this may not be a book for you. For the action buff, there are space battles, fight scenes, and plenty of dire interruptions to the story. For the more cerebral reader, you will find many occurrences of the conquering power of intelligence. This book strikes a good balance between the two. Adventure. As with many space operas, the majority of the scenes are limited to within the walls of the spaceship. Even with this limitation, Dalton manages to give the reader moments of wonder that will call to the heart. Those who look up at the stars and wonder. Being one of these people myself, I appreciated how real the author made the experience and how plausible the advancements' descriptions were. Dalton places the reader in the not-too-distant future, and the realism was pleasant to read. Romance. There is a minor romantic subplot. The 2 main characters are teenagers, but the author treats them as adults due to their intellect and drive. Even though Dalton treats his characters as adults, there is no adult content in this book. Religion. If there is a religion in this book, it would be the religion of science. With a genetically engineered character and an off-color comment about the fallacy of intelligent design, I would place this book in the "we evolved from slime" belief category. Though this is the case, I really did enjoy the book due to the strong themes that the author presented with his very realistic characters. Final thoughts. What I loved most about this book were the real people and powerful drive that pushed the story to the next level. I have read my fair share of fluff books that do not go deeper than the plot, and this is not one of those. The themes of perseverance and inner strength run through every facet of this book. When the characters have setbacks, they feel them. When the characters are pushed to do something unsavory, they are conflicted about it. The very real partners of perseverance and inner strength, confusion and indecision, are represented and thought through in a rational way. Though the hilarity in this book made me laugh, what will stay with me is what could really be possible if you treat a setback as nothing more than another step forward. This book is rated G, will make you gasp. Both eyebrows will be involved in reading this book. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the author, Derrick William Dalton, at d.w.daltonadventures.com.
A Clean Fiction Review by Lynn McConahy of The Heart of the Curiosity by H.L. Burke. The secret lies with the heart. Born with a magical knack for manipulating emotions, Leodora's only dream is to ensure her talented little sister dances on the biggest, brightest stage in the Republic, the Curiosity, a grand old theater of tradition and innovation. After escaping a cruel carnival, Leo secures her sister a place in the Curiosity's chorus line, and herself a job as a professional audience member, swaying the crowd's mood with her magic. The girls have a home for the first time in their lives. Then a tragic accident darkens the theater. A greedy businessman begins blackmailing Leo, and financial woes threaten to close the show forever. The Curiosity's sole hope lies in a mythical power source hidden beneath the maze-like passages and trapdoors of the theater, the Heart. And Leo's only friend, Paxton, nephew of the theater's stage mistress, is the key to finding it. While Leo and Paxton hunt for the Heart, the blackmailer's threats loom larger. Mysterious figures, cryptic clues, and deadly traps hinder the search at every turn. If the friends cannot recover the Heart in time, Leo and her sister will be cast out of the only home they've ever known, and the final curtain will fall on the Curiosity. The Heart of the Curiosity is part of the steampunk and sword sorcery fantasy genres. This book is available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback and on Audible. H.L. Burke is at it again with a lovely mixture of unique world building and strong character design. At this point, I have read many of her books, and the way she is able to weave difficult topics with sweet relationships is one of my favorite types of books to read. Action. Though this book does not have a lot of fast action or fight scenes, it makes up for the lack with plenty of suspense and mystery. There are a few scenes where lives are on the line, and some of the characters do not make it out alive. If you want a mystery book with no death, this would not be the book for you. Adventure. In this book, you do not stray far from the Curiosity Theater. This does not hinder the adventure in the slightest, as anyone who has worked in theater would already know. The building itself is full of twists, turns, and places for the characters to explore. This book is set in a steampunk-type world, and the innovations allowed by this are spectacular. Romance. I want to give this warning out front because it came as a surprise to me. This book deals with abuse of a young girl who grows up with problems because of it. Burke handles this with delicacy and care, but the theme is there. What happened plays a role in the romantic plot of the book. Rather than a sweet, slow-burn relationship, which is a personal favorite of mine, the relationship must overcome what was done in order to flourish. Religion. There is very little overt religious belief in this book. The parts that are there are similar to the Christian religion being part of society rather than part of belief. Even with a main character broken by abuse, the themes of healing and forgiveness do not come up. I feel that this was a lost opportunity in some ways, but it seems that the author wanted to focus more on the mystery and less on character development, thus removing the chance for a rather painful heart-to-heart. Final thoughts. This book is a colorful rendition of a theater mystery. It mixes the darkness and suspense of Phantom of the Opera with the bright creativity of The Greatest Showman. This is definitely a book that I will read again. This book is rated B. This is the full blush, people. If you are prone to fainting, you will need a fan. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the author, H.L. Burke, at hlburkeauthor.com.
This episode of Clean Fiction Audio is sponsored by author and editor Pam Halter. Pam Halter is a children's middle-grade YA fantasy author. Her Willoughby and Friends picture series has won several Purple Dragonfly Awards, and the first book in the series won the Realm Award for Children's Fiction in 2018. YA novel Fairy Eater is a Purple Dragonfly Award recipient as well. Pam is also a freelance children's book editor, blogger, and special needs parent. If you love mysterious and magical fantasy worlds, Pam Halter's books are for you and your family.
A clean fiction review by Lynn McConahy of Recorder, Children of the Consortium, Book 1, by Cathy McCrumb. The Consortium is all. But Recorder can no longer obey. Recorder has no family, no friends, and no name. Donated to the Consortium before birth, her sole purpose is to maintain and verify the records. A neural implant and drone ensure compliance, punishing for displays of bias. Suddenly cut off from controlling technology, Recorder tastes what it means to be human. But if the Consortium discovers her feelings, everyone she knows will be in danger. With no name, no resources, and only an infinitesimal possibility of escape, Recorder's time is running out. Recorder is part of the hard science fiction and genetic engineering science fiction genres. A physical or ebook copy of this book is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It is available in ebook form on Apple, Kobo, Scribd, Thalia, Baldad, Indigo, Angus and Amper Robertson, Mondadori, and Vivlio. It is available as an audiobook on Libro.fm, Chirp, Audible, and Amazon. I was pleasantly surprised by this debut book by Enclave Publishing, though I shouldn't have been surprised. Their high standard of excellence led to a stunning book by a breakout author. This book has everything a science fiction reader would want: detailed descriptions of technology, space travel, futuristic society, and strong characters who work as a team. Action. The starting action of this book is a doozy, and has a bit of gross factor mixed in. This was not an indication of the amount of action that would continue after, so if you are a bit squeamish, you should not have problems after moving past this area of the book. Though there is a certain amount of reliving the event and the things that led up to it, I would say that the amount of tense scenes is lower than would be expected. Adventure. A certain amount of the adventure is found in the memories of the characters. If you are one who reads science fiction to enjoy the wonderment of the universe, this is not the book for you. On the flip side, the author digs deep into the motivations and emotions of the characters as they work through some really tough experiences. Empathizing and moving along with the characters on their journey was both heartbreaking and strengthening. Romance. Though the action can be a bit descriptive for my taste, you can put your worries aside when it comes to the romantic content of this book. I would label the romance as barely blossoming in some cases and not descriptive in others. Religion. I know of one confirmed Christian character as well as other hinted Christian characters. Religion does not play much of a role in this story, but if I am reading the foreshadowing correctly, it will not remain in the back seat for long. Final thoughts. This story was a thrill to read. If you are one who enjoys a sense of mystery and discovery along with your reading, this is definitely the book for you. I loved the growth of the characters and was stunned by the realism given to the hierarchy of the world McCrumb created. I will warn that this is the first book of a series and it has a gaping cliffhanger. Even with that caveat, I would recommend this as a wonderful read to anyone who wants to explore another human's journey with all the colors that can be found in your own. There are 2 more books in this series. This book is rated G, will make you gasp. Both eyebrows will be involved in reading this book. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the author, Cathy McCrumb, at cathymccrumb.com.
A clean fiction review by Lynn McConahy of The Electrical Menagerie by Mollie E. Reader. The Electrical Menagerie, a one-of-a-kind robotic roadshow, is bankrupt. Sylvester Carthage, illusionist and engineer, has the eccentric imagination the menagerie needs to succeed creatively, but none of the people skills. Fast-talking Brooke Huxley, meanwhile, has all the savvy the menagerie needs to succeed commercially, but none of the scruples. To save their show, Carthage and Huxley risk everything in a royal talent competition, vying for the once-in-a-lifetime chance to perform for the future celestial queen. In this stardust and spark-powered empire of floating islands and flying trains, the Electrical Menagerie's bid at fame and fortune means weathering the glamorous and cutthroat world of critics, high society, and rival magicians. But with real conspiracy lurking beneath tabloid controversy, there's more at stake in this contest than the prize. Behind the glittery haze of flash paper and mirrors, every competitor has something to hide. And it's the lies Carthage and Huxley tell each other that may cost them everything. This book was recommended to me by a friend as a must-read. Knowing that she reads as much, if not more, than I do, I dove into Reader's World with glee and anticipation. There are several comparisons to The Greatest Showman, but though the flavor of show business might be the same, this story gives the reader something more. The electrical Menagerie is part of the steampunk and performing arts fiction genres. This book is available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback and on Audible. Action. There are frequent bursts of action sprinkled throughout the steampunk world that Reader has created. Though no grand sword fights or paced-off pistol duels are to be found, there is an element of mystery that keeps the reader on their toes. The mystery deals with murder, so if you are squeamish, be warned. Adventure. I was a ways into the story before I realized how wonderful the floating islands were. Truth is, I didn't realize that they were floating and that the train tracks traversed the sky. I suppose I missed that bit in the book blurb. This was most likely due to the comfortable, this is our everyday reaction that the characters had to their surroundings. There are no outside characters to give the reader an insight into the difference, but once I realized what was going on, I loved it. The showmanship of Sylvester Carthage also lends to the adventure of this book in a more beauty of the creative mind sort of way. Learning about his past was sobering, and gave the book a subplot that added more weight to the experience than The Greatest Showman was able to provide. Romance. There is a romantic subplot to this book, but due to the proper nature of a pseudo-Victorian society, everything is mild and above board. Focusing more on themes of friendship and camaraderie, I greatly enjoyed the relationship between Burke Huxley and Sylvester Carthage. The growth of their friendship was the star of this book. Religion. There is an undercurrent of Christian ideals in this book, but nothing overt. The author is a Christian, and a reader with similar beliefs should be very comfortable reading this book. Final thoughts. Loneliness versus friendship. Ability versus disability. Mundanity versus wonder. This story pulls on your heartstrings in so many different ways. A friendship between two gentlemen that could rival the depth of Holmes and Watson, a disabled main character who would encourage others who struggle to soar, and the beauty of a mind so enriched by creativity that it could not help but bring wonder to the world around him. This book is the complete package, and I look forward to the future of this series. This book is rated G, will make you gasp. Both eyebrows will be involved in reading this book. For more specific information about this rating, visit the Levels of Clean page on our website. You can find the author, Mollie E. Reader, at thecelestialisles.com.